Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are Monazi, aka Sandra and Timo, and today
we're sharing with you 10 things we wish we knew before starting van life. After living on the road for 1.5 years, traveling through Europe, we learned our fair share of things, and today we're sharing with you 10 things we wish we knew.
So if you're just starting out on your van life adventure, or you're maybe just planning a trip, these are 10 things that might help you on your journey.
So without further ado, let's get into the video.
Number 1, you will find yourself repairing things quite often in the van because things get loose because of driving, things can break, so we always had our little toolbox with us, and we wish we would have known that this takes actually quite some time, and it comes always in the worst moments, of course.
You have to keep it zen because your water might stop in the middle of your trip, or a leak would be somewhere running through, so yeah, it's just a part of the job. Number 2, things take twice as much as they would normally take in a house. Unfortunately, yeah, this is the slow living. They call it living slow because of a reason. As simple as that, when you live in a van, everything takes longer and simple tasks become, well, a couple of hours kind of tasks. Most of the times you have to take a lot of things out to get one thing out of your closet, or cooking becomes quite an adventure. So just keep in mind that this is a slow life for a reason, and be ready to add an extra time into your to-do list.
Also things that you maybe don't consider in your daily tasks, like driving around, finding a spot, all that kind of stuff adds up to the time bill at the end of the day. So you will see that days can pass also very quickly once you start running some errands and doing some things that you have to do to maintain the van.
You wake up, then you look at your clock, it's 4 p.m. and all you did was have breakfast. This happened to us many times.
Number 3, we realized how much water and electricity we consume. Now we know that approximately we need 20 liters for 3-4 days for the two of us, something we didn't know before. Also, we know how much electricity we use more or less, so that's something we didn't think of before we started van life.
Number 4, be ready for unhappy faces. During our trips, sometimes when we find a spot to park and to spend a few days, we encounter some people that were not so happy with campers around and gave us weird looks or maybe even rude comments. This is just part of the experience, and all we can do is be respectful and come back with a big smile, because at the end we're not doing anything wrong unless you're parking somewhere private, I guess. But just be ready for that. So for me in particular, that take these things maybe a bit more personal, I wish I was ready for this, to just come back with kindness and to say hello, smile back and move on.
And it's also not all the time. Most of the times van life can also be flowers and unicorns, so don't take it too serious this point, but just be prepared, it can happen. Number 5, hot will be hot and cold will be cold. Because the insulation in the van is a relative. You have windows, so that means heat can come in, cold can come in, and you find yourself exposed to extreme temperatures. So just be aware that when it's freezing outside, it will be freezing inside. Doesn't matter how well you insulated the van. The same applies for hot weather. So be prepared to be outside of the van when it's very hot, and be prepared for the cold days with maybe an extra blanket or heater so you can survive. Definitely something we underestimated a little, and we wish we would have known.
If not, just spend the winter in the Canary Islands like we did. 25 degrees in
You can check out our FUERTEVENTURA video here.
Point number 6 is quality will save you money. This is something we thought we knew, but definitely after 1.5 years living in the van, we can absolutely say it's 100% true. Buying cheap stuff is not the way to go. You use things every day, you're moving around, and things that are not good will break easily. So at the end, investing in good things will save you money because they're gonna be longer lasting and better quality overall. So if you're planning on building a van, don't go cheap on certain things, you might regret it.
You can also find our 5 most expensive items in the van, so don't go cheap on them.
Yeah.
Number 7, we wish we would have known that we will have a lot of sleepless nights. because it's not the official knock that you get from police or rangers or whatever. We actually never got this. But loud music, weird vibes can make you change the spot, and we actually, especially in Spain, we had the situation a couple of times where young people came to the parking lot where we were sleeping and they were blasting music and there was no end in sight, so we decided to move on. So at 2 a.m. in the morning we had to pack up and go to find a new spot. So this is something to keep in mind. Also in the morning it can get quite hectic in some spots, so you might hear doors closing that wake you up very early in the morning. Or as we had in Hamburg, for example, someone was inflating stand-up paddleboard with a pump right next to our van. Yes, that happened at 6 a.m. So this is something you have to be prepared for. In the night or early in the morning there can be a lot of movement or noise that wake you up. So we definitely had some situations where we had to move on and the night was not very restful.
Also in my case, I was not expecting the rain to be so loud in the car. So yeah, stuff gets really loud inside of the car. Number 8, if you know us a little, you know we love grocery shopping, but in van life, this was the next level. We found ourselves going shopping every 2-3 days because our fridge is much smaller and we like to buy fresh produce. So yeah, we were shopping all the time. The good thing is that when you go shopping with your van, you can directly drive the car out of the supermarket and into your fridge. So there's no bags up and down the stairs like we have to do in here. We live in a 4th floor, so it's quite a workout. And most of the times if we got hungry, we ate in the parking lot. So there's plus.
I think it was the best point about van life.
Absolutely.
Always have your kitchen with you.
Yeah.
We're coming almost to the last point of this video. Number 9 is van life doesn't equal no bills. A lot of people make it seem like that you don't have running costs while living in a van, but this is actually not true. And even though we knew that there will be monthly costs coming towards us, we were still surprised how many, or like how unpredictable they can be. For example, you have your phone bill, you have insurances, you have maybe campground sites where you go, or when you do sports you have to maybe pay a gym, whatever.
And
Parking. There are some things that roll up quite frequently, which are even harder to predict than when you live in a house, for example. Of course, petrol depends how much you drive. Tolls. So you see there are a lot of things that are adding up. We actually also did a video about how much we spend in a month. So we wish we would have known before. So at the end, yes, it is true, you don't pay rent, which is a big plus, but there are other things making up for it. So you maybe sometimes even spend more than you would pay for rent. So this is something we wish we would have known.
And point number 10, not always the spots where you park will be Instagram worthy. I feel like we kind of knew, but we were still hoping that we would always find a beautiful place in front of the forest, in front of the water, where we would just open our door and enjoy the most beautiful view. And although this did happen sometimes, we also had to accept that sometimes the spots are a bit shitty. You might have to park somewhere in the middle of the city, close to the road. I don't know, we had some funny parkings here and there.
You have to be spontaneous and flexible with where you sleep and where you park.
So I guess we could have been a bit more prepared for the fact that we're not always gonna have beautiful spots, but definitely the good ones make up for it.
Especially on those days where you drive a lot and you want to get to a new destination. Sometimes you have to make huge compromises because the spots are on the way, and that's why you maybe find yourself in spots that are not very nice but very convenient for your drive. But sometimes those spots can also turn out to be very beautiful, so you know, could be either this or that.
So these are 10 things we wish we knew before living and traveling full-time in a van through Europe. We hope you find them useful and helpful, and they might help you planning your next van adventure.
Which points did we forget? Which points you wish you would have known? Leave them in the comment section below. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and we see you in our next video. Bye!
Bye!